الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا وصي الحسن والخلف الحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها اشفع لنا وحاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله وصلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين. حاجات.
Let's always say 5 times Ayyam Majib for all those who are in need of our du'as. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amma yujibu mustara iza da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu mustara iza da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu mustara iza da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma mustara iza da'ahu.
Begin with the Surah Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Surely we have revealed it on the grand night. And what will make you comprehend the grand night? The grand night is better than 1,000 months. The angels and Jibreel descend in it by the permission of their Lord for every affair. Peace. It is till the break of the morning. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We're now beginning the second half of this holy month, in this blessed month. And the nights, these important nights of Qadr are upon us, and they're on the horizon this week. Many of you are probably wondering, why is he the speaker tonight? Well, we went back and forth, and our speaker was, there was a chance that he would be delayed. Unfortunately, that did come to fruition. Inshallah, Brother Muhammad Ali will be with us starting tomorrow evening. And the end result is I was actually the cheapest option. As a matter of fact, I paid to speak tonight. Brothers and sisters, this is an important topic. Many times I come up here, I get to speak. I know the last few times the topics have been very heavy, so I'm going to keep it light this evening. And I am being charged by the minute, by the way, so this will go pretty fast. So a couple of things I want to talk about. As many of you know, we're in the process right now of rebuilding our mosque. That is not everybody knows, we've been talking about that. As a matter of fact, we do want to have another open house in the coming weeks as the weather gets nicer before they start sealing up the building. Just waiting for the green light. I know there's some rails and things that need to be put in place, but Hopefully this next visit, we'll be able to go upstairs, walk around, and start to get a feel for the layout of the other floors. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know when that time comes, if we're able to do that. But part of building our mosque, I want to share with you some of the things that are happening. Maybe you're not aware. Why build such a big mosque? Our community, if you noticed, has been growing slowly, right? It's a little different than the growth that we've been accustomed to in the past in terms of who is coming into our community. We're seeing an expansion in the sense of young professionals, doctors, engineers, coming into our town. These are people who may have grown up in other parts of the country and are now migrating to this area. So what's happening? What makes this area, what makes Lehigh Valley, what makes Allentown an attractive area? So I'm going to share with you some facts that you may or you may not be aware of. Right? So right now today, Lehigh Valley, which is where we're situated, which also has a nickname. Does anybody know what that nickname is? Okay, have you heard of Silicon Valley? That's out on the West Coast, San Francisco area. Lehigh Valley is becoming known as Silicon Valley. Why? There's a growth in this area of life science organizations. Life science organizations are those that make our medicines, pharmaceuticals, biotech, healthcare, medical devices. You're going to see a growth of that in the Lehigh Valley and the surrounding areas, Philadelphia and through the New Jersey corridor. That area, again, is known as Silicon Valley. So as you're looking at careers, where you want to expand, where your children want to study, start looking into those fields, because those are the fields that you will be, the more fields that will be in demand in this particular area, as well as technology. Technology is also growing. But just to share some facts with you, Lehigh Valley is a very dynamic economic hub. Today, as of the last study by Site Magazine, okay, Site Magazine is a magazine that is, or publication that is used by owners of businesses, of CEOs, CIOs of businesses, which advises them where to expand and invest money. Site Magazine right now has Lehigh Valley in the entire Northeast. So if you know the Northeast, that's here, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, moving up into Boston. This whole region is known as the Northeast. So cities that are amongst us in the Northeast are Philadelphia, New York, Boston, right? These are the largest cities that are in this area. Lehigh Valley currently ranks number 5 on that list for economic expansion. So this is, again, regions for business attraction and expansion. So we're number 5. Looking at communities, again, same publication, Site Magazine, right? In communities the same size as the Lehigh Valley, which is up to about 2 million people in the entire country, the entire United States, Lehigh Valley ranks number 2. Okay. So as businesses look to expand and invest their money, this area has become very attractive. And so if you notice, your property values are rising. Right? In the last 4 or 5 years, property values have risen significantly. 5 years ago, just my own home was around $300,000. Today, that same house, townhouse, little townhouse, about $450,000. Okay, so property values, and they're going to continue to rise. Lehigh Valley was once known as a place where it was cheap to live. It's now in the 8th percentile, which is becoming one of the more expensive places to live. Right, so if you bought years ago, you bought low. If you were going to buy today, it's going to cost a little bit, right? Because you're going to have to pay the current market rate, and you're going to continue to see this rise as businesses expand and move into this area. The other thing that you may not know, and many of you actually do know, because the people that I talked to, some of the new families that have moved in, why did you come here? What attracted you here? So again, for those of us, myself, and I speak for my family and a few of my friends that talk about this, we stayed here. We could have gone other places, found other jobs that paid more, but we chose to stay here. Why? To raise our children. This is a great place to raise children. Some of the schools that you have access to here in our area are some of the best schools that you can send your children to, and they get a very good education. And as we've seen, as our kids are graduating college, they're getting accepted into some of the finer institutions, such as some of the Ivy Leagues and some of the other top schools around the country. So this is a very attractive place to raise a family. As well, it's a great place for healthcare. We have 2 of the top medical systems in the country. between St. Luke's and Lehigh Valley Hospital. We have great access to medical care. The other thing that will shock you is Lehigh Valley was named the 9th best metropolitan area to retire. All the cities around the country, Lehigh Valley ranks number 9 as one of the best places to retire. Again, access to medical care, parks and recreation, right? So this area is very attractive and it's going to continue. You're going to see this grow, continue to grow. And again, many of you benefit from this, right? You're here, you see the benefits of living in this area. With the coming of the new mosque, you're going to see an expansion of the number of people that will be attracted to come to Allentown, not just for these things I just mentioned, but because we have a sound community here as Shia Muslims, and that will be attracted here. You're seeing a lot of diversity in our community. It's no longer, you're seeing the East African migration here, right? You're seeing most of the migration happening from other diverse communities, and that'll continue to happen. We're actually putting out a piece in the next few weeks that'll be marketed across the country, right? One of the things for us to be successful and to sustain this community is we need to grow, right? While our kids are finishing school, the likelihood of them staying here, and I can speak for my own family, my son did not come back here. After college, he went somewhere else for his profession, which was more feasible for him to do so. We may see that amongst our children, and many of us migrated here maybe for the second or third times in our lives and brought our families here. So the likelihood of children being born here and staying here is unlikely. So we do have to attract other people to come here. So everything that's being built today sustains. So how do we do that, right? When you say Allentown, you go to other places, sometimes you get ooh, what town? Other places know Allentown very well. I've been doing a lot of work these last few years with the Mainstay Foundation, which I'll talk about in Detroit. I get teased a lot about being the mayor of Allentown because I speak so highly of it. And you'll see that today as I talk through about Allentown, because I'm very passionate about this town and the potential that it has. But we have to put ourselves on that map, meaning that we have to let people know what amenities, what kind of lifestyle they can have here, right? If I'm a young family, I have my young children, I have my elderly parents, this is an ideal place to come. I get the education for my children. I get the care for my elder parents, as well as a community, which I'm going to talk about, things that we need to do to expand, to make it more attractive, especially right now. One of the areas that I will also admit that is not being catered to the way it should be catered to is our senior community. We do a lot of youth stuff. You hear that a lot, youth. The youth are doing this, let's promote the youth. But we also have to have stuff for our elderly, and you're going to start seeing some of that come out, okay? Last couple of years, like I said, we've gone through some challenges that were not planned. COVID, moving, we didn't plan. We're not in a very good spot. We're very stable. We are now focused 100% on these types of initiatives, right? So again, not just things for youth, but as well for our elderly community, right? Again, other benefits of living here in the Lehigh Valley, we are strategically located. We are about 1 hour away from Philadelphia. We're about 90 miles from New York City. Washington, D.C. is 3 hours away. Again, these other larger urban metro areas have some other amenities and things that attract people to go. So again, they're not far away from us. We also have beaches on the Northeast coast, New Jersey, as well as Delaware, that are about 2.5 hours away. So again, there are a lot of amenities here, and as well the airports. We have access to a local airport here in Allentown. Hopefully they'll be expanding. If you see some of the renovations, it's exciting to see maybe there's some expansion with some other flights. But as well, we're not that far from Newark or Philly airports, or for some of the international flights, JFK, you can get to in about 2 hours, not counting traffic. All right. So again, many advantages here of living in the Lehigh Valley, which is where we're going to now promote to other areas and other communities to see if we can attract migration here, because we do need to grow to sustain everything that's being built. All right. I want to bring up, guys, if you can bring up that one slide for me, please. So there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. I mentioned I do a lot of work with the Mainstay Foundation. I am a board member there. This last year's meeting, we had a session. If you can go to the second slide, we had a session, and these meetings are to talk about strategic initiatives, things that we can do to help expand and help communities grow and get better. So I'm developing this, what's called an Islamic community maturity model. So if you look at a community as a whole, there are various elements that lead to a successful community. We're going to be doing this maturity assessment on ourselves. So when it's time, we'll gather everybody and we'll do some surveys, we'll have some workshops, we'll get some feedback. But if you look at things, is how do you rate an organization, how well it's doing? How strong is its strategic initiatives, its strategy? How strong is its leadership, right? How strong is its leadership development? Its culture, community management, content and programming, which is a big thing, right? We have the member. If you saw the Ramadan booklet that we prepared this year, the first page talked about innovating inspiration, but preserving tradition. What does that mean, right? There are things, for example, here on the member that should never change. This was established and it survived 1,400 years. However, there are programming and things that we can do to gain and increase our spirituality. And that's what you're going to start seeing from our moving forward, is those types of programs. We'll have the member will stay untouched, right? We'll make some minor changes in terms of the way the content and programming is run, but you'll see a growth in spiritual development, okay? Bringing in speakers, both on the gents and ladies side, to help develop that capacity. Other areas that we need to improve on is policy and governance, especially when we go to our new mosque, right? There will be a manual, there will be things that will, it's not like, hey, where's this, where's that? No, go see this person. You won't need to do that. All the information over time, while we're building this up, will be recorded, easily electronic. You can search on things you're looking for, so you won't have to go look for it. You won't have to figure it out. As well as we're talking about leadership development, the things that we do on the member, right? Lash, alam, right? Different programs, certain things that we recite. We need to document this, right? So tomorrow, again, you can have another group of people managing this, but managing into these policies and guidelines, right? Because that's really what we want to preserve. We say preserve tradition. Okay, that will stay intact, and we have to secure and safeguard that. So as the generations change, new leaders emerge, they follow the same guidelines. Right? That's very important. Okay? We talk about tools, technology, right? Website, app. I talk about financial systems, other tools, right, to help control things, electronic lights and thermostats and things like that. You'll start seeing some of that. Okay? And as well, metrics and measurement, because you have to measure this growth. You have to measure how you're performing against what you say you're going to do. Right? So all these things, again, we're putting together, and you see a little on the side, it's hard to read that, but we'll have more discussions. I don't want to take up too much time. We'll cover some more of this in detail as we move forward. Tonight's topic we talked about was begin with the end in mind. Inshallah, next Saturday night, we have a workshop. Begin with the end in mind is a principle that comes from Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It is habit number 2, right? You have to know where it is you want to end in order to create that plan to get there, okay? So first thing is you have to clarify your destination. Where are we going, right? Second thing is you set goals to make sure that you get there in that timeline. Third thing is you make value-driven decisions. Okay, so what does that mean? Decisions that we make are not just what that feels like doing. I know the little short man in the parking lot likes to tell people that. It's not true. It is carefully, every decision is carefully vetted out. Brother Shane, Sister Anwari, other members of the committee, other members of this community are asked for advice. One of the principles of Imam Ali in leadership is to do things and make decisions in consultation. We follow that to the T, right? So when we're making decisions, it's not just, again, getting input and advice before making decisions, but again, what are the different outcomes, right? And then you choose the best outcome. And then stay motivated. The other day I was praying, and a young man sitting next to me, as we were shaking hands, asked me, how do you make being president look so easy? And I responded, it's really not easy, but I couldn't give him more. Brothers and sisters, this is not easy, all right? This is work. It is 24/7. It is while you're burying your father, getting a phone call, something's not right back home. True story, that happened, all right? It is 24/7. It is dealing with people's personal matters sometimes, and having to be making tough choices or showing tough love sometimes to get people to understand what to do. right? It's dealing with the little complaints. Sometimes you just in one, out the other, whatever. Sometimes there's meaningful information that's being provided to you. So now you take that. So next time you're faced with the same scenario, maybe you do it a little differently, right? But one thing I will say, talking to each other doesn't help. The people you need to be talking to, one of them is right here. Oftentimes I hear so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. So we'll have them come talk. We'll listen, and maybe we'll give you the reason why we made the decisions, because again, you can't operate on half the decision, right? If you have one side of the story, that doesn't help. You got to hear the entire picture, right? And then maybe you'll understand, maybe you won't, but at least you'll know why we made the decision we made, right? So the answer to the young man, I have to follow up with him as to how do you make being president look so easy? First of all, you have to take things with a grain of salt. It takes a significant amount of pressure. You have to stay motivated, and you really have to be doing this for a purpose bigger than yourself. Right? I don't do this for me. Well, let me take this back. I don't do this for any of you. I do this for my parents to bring them honor, and I do it for him. And I do it for the coming of my 12th Imam. Because 50 years from now, again, begin with the end in mind, right? If there's nothing left in Allentown and people are doing whatever they want, kids just run in the halls, right? At the mosque, because that's okay. I was told the other day, right? You can do that at the mosque, but you can't do it at the church, right? If we're at that point in time, 50 years from now, and the Imam arrives, again, most of us will not recognize him, right? It takes discipline, brothers and sisters. We all have to work on ourselves, right? It takes discipline on ourselves to build the community that we need to build for everyone and not for us. Again, what we do is not for us. It's for a time and a place where we no longer walk this earth. Everything, every hour that I personally put in, I won't be around. I'm just planting seeds, and I hope it grows to something. And I'll be forgotten. No one will remember who I was, right? Who they do need to remember, and what we're doing, is a remembrance of the Prophet, what he left us behind, the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. That is it. It's that simple. We complicate it, right? So what I'm looking for, again, as we talk, and I'm going to wrap up soon, is really, this is a call today, it's a call to action. Okay, it's a call for change. It's a call for introspection, looking within yourselves. All right, everyone here reflect. What is it that you want to leave behind that the people 50 years from now are going to benefit from? That's what you need to be asking yourself, right? Complaining about there wasn't enough meat on the bone ain't going to do a thing for people 50 years from now, right? But let's talk about how we build this next community. I said the foundation's not broken, brothers and sisters. Don't get me wrong. We have a strong foundation. We're just going to have to, what I want to reinforce it and make it even stronger, right? So this thing does last way into the future, okay? In the words of Imam Ali, do for this life as you live forever. Do for the afterlife as if you're going to die tomorrow, all right? This profound wisdom encapsulates the essence of the message here today. It's what I'm asking of everybody. If you love this community as much as I love this community, this is easy, very easy, right? It's not just the completion of the new mosque. Again, it's building for what will come and be 50 years from now, when most of us will no longer be here, right? So the new mosque will represent hope. It'll represent unity. It'll represent diversity. I talked about changes within our own demographics, within our own community. It's going to change, right? It's going to become a hub, and we don't have to wait for this, right? This is the stuff we want to work on right now. These next 2-3 years while the mosque is being built, this is what we're going to work on, right? It's becoming a hub for education. I talked about the school, right? It's going to become a place for cultural exchange. It's going to be a place for interfaith dialogue. April 4th, we're going to have a small interfaith gathering, right? We used to do quite a few back at the mosque. We're going to start getting back into that groove, okay, of having more of this. And doing all of this, again, is a testament to our values of inclusivity and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. This is what we're taught to do, all right? In the sacred place in that new mosque, every tile, every beam, every book will tell a story of a community that dared to dream big. That's what I'm asking you to do. Dream big. Think beyond yourself, right? We all have selfish tendencies, myself included, but we got to think beyond that. Okay, that mosque is a place that will not just welcome the followers of the Ahlul Bayt, it'll welcome anyone who's seeking knowledge, peace, and spiritual growth. That's what we're striving for when we get there. But we can start right now, and we can do that right here in this building, right? I want you to think of that moment. Just close your eyes. Everybody help me, close your eyes. You can close your eyes. I'm not coming around. But guys in the back, you're safe. Safe. Right? I want you to think of that moment 3 years from now when we walk into that new building for the first time. How are you going to feel that day? Be quite an amazing feeling, right? Okay. We never forget where we came from. To this day, I still take my family to where I was living when we first moved here. We started off at Helford Springs, and then we moved to Lumber Street. Never forget where you came from. I drive by Chew Street all the time, right? Never forget where we came from. I mentioned 2 weeks ago, we all lived on the south side, and now we're here on the west side, right? This growth changes, right? We want to expand. This is his blessings. It comes to us, but it's from him. We got to recognize where it came from. I promise you, we won't forget the old mosque. We actually kept remnants of the old mosque. I'll surprise you when we open. There are things that we kept that will remember the old center. A lot of work from the administration went into building that mosque. That's not going to get forgotten. The other day, one of our senior ladies, I haven't asked her name, so I can't say it here, brought me a little bag with a folder in, saying, these are all the records I have from when we first started here in Allentown. Right? Last year, Brother Muhammad Raza and others, we were sitting around and we were talking about those days back in the 70s. I remember them like yesterday. These memories can't be lost. We're at the point now where that generation is moving on. We need to spend some time, and I will call a meeting of all the people that were here in the 70s to capture that history. It cannot be lost, right? I may be the one, I know, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I am the first president of this generation. It was a generational change. My father's generation was who led before. I think I may be the one that will be that next generation that came to lead. I have a responsibility to make sure I preserve that generation. Things that from the original founders to the time of the building of the last Al-Ahad, right? All that will be captured, and we're going to put that in a time capsule. So those that come after us, even those that come 50 years from now, remember what was done here and how things came about, right? Promise, memories will not be lost, all right? So again, I'm calling each of you, again, this is a call to action. Each of you, I want to be part of this future, to be an architect of that future. If you read, I know you may not have, in an email I sent during Eid al-Adha, I put in there about the talent that we have in this community. It's going to take each and every single one of us that represents different areas of knowledge to put the next chapter together, this plan, this strategy, this vision, to finalize and put it together. One of the things that we did this last year, and everybody asked me, why are you doing it? Why are you doing this? Well, what's your measure for, I always get asked, what's the criteria for success? What's your success factor? We did the Arba'in exhibit back at the end of Muharram Safar, and we did it differently, right? I didn't say a word. We just assembled groups and teams of people, and it was up to them to come up with the ideas of how they wanted to execute for their specific group, be it the medical tent, be it the mokibs, be it whatever, right? I think, Brother Shana, you looked at me because you're not saying no to anything. I didn't say no to a thing, right? They were all good ideas, but here's the thing, when you get an idea, you now have to come up with a plan to execute. Oftentimes, ideas are brought to us to put on our plate. Our plates are full, right? It's time for you to take an idea and bring it to fruition. So over the next few weeks, months, we're going to put together, or we're going to call together teams of people. You'll be randomly selected to be part of a group. You'll sit with us, we'll talk, we'll capture ideas, and we're going to solidify this vision. right? This is not my vision. If it's my vision, it's going to die the day I walk away from this podium. Okay? I know this. So I'd be a fool to just feed you something, right? The goal is to make this our vision. We have to solidify it together, and then it lasts, right? So look out for this. Again, we're the, architects of the future, all of us. Doesn't matter how old you are, okay? I'm at a point now in my life when I look at the rear view mirror, the road behind me is longer than what's left in front of me. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Wherever you are on this road, how much road is behind you and how much road remains in front? Okay. This is your opportunity to leave your legacy behind. So again, when you get the call, I'm urging everyone to please participate. Put egos aside now, right? Not going to lie, that exists here. It's time to put the egos, pettiness, and whatever aside. Okay, we're doing this again for something bigger than ourselves. Okay, so I am going to ask each of you to do it again. From the words of Imam Ali, and I'll close with this. Your remedy is within you, but you do not sense it. Your sickness is from you, but you do not perceive it. You presume you are a small entity, but within you is enfolded the entire universe. All right? Brothers and sisters, everything is inside here, within all of us. It's time to bring that good out. Okay, so with that, I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our community, bless our endeavors, and our journey towards building a vibrant, inclusive, and faithful future. Let's close again, remembering our marhumeen with the Surah Fatiha.
Allah Bardigan Nara Salawat Allah बेकसों के मददगार मौला अली जुज तेरे कोई अपना सहारा नहीं तेरा दर छोड़ कर जाए आखिर कहाँ गैर का दर जबी को गवारा नहीं या अली 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 या आया में सब पढ़ें या अली 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 आए काबे में जिस दम अली के कदम मुंह के बलगे पड़े बुत ये कहते हुए आए काबे में जिस दम अली के कदम मुंह के बलगे पड़े बुत ये कहते हुए आइए आइए जानशीने नबी ये तुम्हारा ही घर है हमारा नहीं या अली या माशाअल्लाह अली या 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 आप ये तसव्वुर करें कि आप नजफ में बैठे हुए हैं ठीक है और मौला अली की ज़रिया आपके सामने है दिल खोल के आप मौला को याद करें और अभी अयाम अली भी करीब है तो आप लोग जितनी बुलंद आवाज में ऐसा पढ़ेंगे वो एक रौनक हो जाएगी या अली या अली या माशाअल्लाह शर्माए नहीं या अली या अली या وہ تو کم ظرف ہے جو تجھے چھوڑ دے، ورنہ مولا علی تیری تعظیم کو جو پلٹ کر نہ آئے وہ سورج نہیں، جو نہ چوکھٹ کو چومے وہ تارا نہیں، یا علی یا ماشاء اللہ، آواز یہاں سے نہیں آ رہی، بہت بلند، یا علی یا علی یا علی یا، ارے جانے خندق میں کیسے مسلمان تھے، جانے خندق میں کیسے مسلمان تھے، تانائے کفر چپ چاپ سنتے رہے، سب کے پہلو میں تلوار موجود تھی، امر کا سر کسی نے اتارا نہیں، یا علی یا ماشاء اللہ، یا علی یا علی یا علی علی یا علی یا علی یا علی یا علی یا، جو علی کا نہیں وہ نبی کا نہیں، جو نبی کا نہیں وہ خدا کا نہیں، جو علی کا نہیں وہ نبی کا نہیں، جو نبی کا نہیں اے مسلمان اصحاب سے پوچھ لے، کیا یہ خم نبی نے پکارا نہیں، یا علی یا علی یا علی یا علی یا، آپ کی سماعتوں میں کیا کہنے، ایک اور کلام پیش کر رہا ہوں، بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات، اللہم صلی اللہ۔ اس کی دنیا غلام ہوتی ہے جو علی کا غلام ہوتا ہے، رنگ ہے در کا جس پہ چڑھ جائے، اس کا مر کر بھی، اس کا مر کر بھی نام ہوتا ہے، علی یا علی یا علی یا علی علی یا علی علی یا، ملنگ موسیٰ ادھر آؤ، آگے بیٹھو، تم جو پیچھے بیٹھے ہو جواب نہیں دے رہے ہو، ہنس رہے ہو، مجھے یہاں سے نظر آ رہا ہے، بزرگ لوگ بیٹھے ہوئے وہ لوگ کتنی باز بلند میرے ساتھ پڑھ رہے ہیں اور تم پیچھے بیٹھ کے بات کر رہے ہو، یہ صحیح نہیں ہے۔ کیا کہتے ہیں نور علی انکل؟ صحیح ہے؟ I remember when Ali Maula, I remember when I was in Dar es Salaam and Nur Ali uncle who was in madrasa, if you acquire it, like when you recite salawat, you have to recite really loudly, like really loudly, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, yeah, جیسے امین بھائی نے کہا آپ لوگ نئے جنریشن ہے، آپ لوگ کو آگے آنا چاہیے۔ کیا کہتے ہیں نور علی انکل؟ بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات، اللہ مولا 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 علی ولی اللہ، مولا مولا مولا، so I will say مولا مولا، آپ لوگ سب کہیں گے علی ولی اللہ، صحیح ہے؟ مولا 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 اللہ، مولا 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 ولی اللہ، سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار مولا 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 لاؤڈر مولا 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 ہاں ہاں سرکار یہ سب آپ کی زوجہ کی دعا ہے سرکار یہ سب آپ کی زوجہ کی دعا ہے گھر گھر میں جو یہ ماتم سادات بپا ہے ہر دل تیرے بچوں کا عزا خانہ بنا ہے آنکھیں ہیں نجف دل میں بسی کرب بلا ہے ہم عزادار ہے مولا ہم عزادار ہے مولا ہم وفادار ہے مولا تیرے غم خار ہے مولا آپ سردار ہے مولا سرکار بنا لیجئے اپنا ہمیں زوار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار مولا 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 ماشاءاللہ مولا 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 ہاں مولا 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 ہاں اللہ کی انمول اللہ کی انمول جو شاہکار بنا ہے اسلام کا آلہ جو علمدار بنا ہے مشکل میں جو نبیوں کا مددگار بنا ہے وہ سارے اماموں کا جو سردار بنا ہے کل ایمان ہے مولا دین کی شان ہے مولا شاہ مردان ہے مولا شیر یزدان ہے مولا کہتے ہیں نبی اپنا جسے وارث دستار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار مولا 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 لا مولا 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 ہاں شاہوں سے بھی آلہ ہے تیرے در کے گدا گئے کرتے ہیں غلامی تیری دنیا کے سکندر آلہ ہے امیروں سے فقیروں کے مقدر جنت کے ہے تاجر تیری دہلیز کے نوکر ابھی آپ سمجھ ساتھ پڑھے گا نعرہ حیدری مولا So I will say you repeat نعرہ حیدری مولا louder نعرہ حیدری مولا نعرہ قمبری مولا نعرہ بوزری مولا نعرہ صفدری مولا میسم نے لگایا ہے یہی نعرہ سریدار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار مولا 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 لا مولا 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 ہاں ہاں سادات کی پرعزم قیادت میں علی ہے سادات کی پرعزم قیادت میں علی ہے شبیر کے انداز عبادت میں علی ہے سجاد کی زینب کی خطابت میں علی ہے عباس کے پرچم کی جلالت میں علی ہے علی اصغر میں بھی مولا علی اصغر علی اصغر میں بھی مولا علی اکبر میں بھی مولا علی اطہر میں بھی مولا ہاں 72 میں بھی مولا ہے پاک گھرانہ تیرا اسلام کا مہمان حیدر کرار حیدر کرار مولا 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 ماشاءاللہ مولا 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 ہاں سرکار علمدار دو عالم کا مددگار حیدر کرار حیدر کرار پیروں میں میرا پیر زبردست ہے سرکار حیدر کرار آئیں آخر میں یہ ایک استغاثہ پیش کرتا ہوں، میرے ساتھ ساتھ پڑھیے گا. میں کربو بلا کے چوموں گا غرام پھر سے ہو جائے نگاہوں کو دیدار علم پھر سے. بس لطف و کرم مجھ پر سرکار یہی کرنا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ بلا لینا. مولا میری حاجت کو للہ روا کرنا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ بلا لینا. اے دل اے دل تجھے محشر سے ڈرنے کی ضرورت کیا، تو بلا پہنچا جنت کی ضرورت کیا، تو قریب بلا پہنچا جنت کی ضرورت کیا. ہو میرے مقدر میں قیبل سے جڑے رہنا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ ماشاءاللہ، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ بلا لینا. اس درد کے مارے کو تسکین کہاں ہوگی، ہو جسم جہاں لیکن پر روح وہاں ہوگی، ہو جسم جہاں لیکن پر روح وہاں ہوگی. ایک لمحہ مجھے خود سے مولا نہ جدا کرنا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ. میں کیسے پلٹ جاؤں جنت کی فضاؤں سے، میں دور کروں کیسے روضے کو نگاہوں سے، میں دور کروں کیسے روضے کو نگاہوں سے. مشکل ہے بہت مولا اس در سے پلٹ جانا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے روضے پہ بلا لینا. مولا میری حاجت کو للہ روا کرنا، جب دل میرا گھبرائے रोजे पे अफलह मन सल्ला अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ल अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद अल्लाहुम्मा कुन लिवलियकल حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وأينا حتى تسكنه أرضك وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين صلوات الله زيارت السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين سيد المسيحيين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبا الفضل عباس ابن أمير المؤمنين وأختك زينب وأم كلثوم وبنتك السكينة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء السلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته